Right. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Finally! Yes! Wait. Ungex mascot. There's my special guest there. Hello, Eileen. How are you? We love you. All right, I might stop my music, but it is pretty great tunes. Hello, people out there. Thank you. Yeah, he was pretty. I'm surprised he didn't scratch my eyes out, but he's a good boy. He's a little Ungex mascot. But I hope you're doing well, guys out there. Thanks for joining me today. Fighting the fight. I hope everyone's well. It's pretty cold here in Melbourne, Australia. I'm already itching. Speaking of all things Demodex. So I just thought I'd jump on today. And hello. Thanks for joining, guys. I haven't done a live in a couple of weeks, so I thought I'd do something a bit different today. So please jump on. Any questions you want to know about Demodex as well, I'll try my best to answer them on the video. If not, because I do talk a bit, I'll get back to you on a private message afterwards. Wow, that light's quite bright. But I hope everyone's doing well out there. You guys in the States, I know COVID's lifting. The fog of COVID is finally lifting. Especially for all our lovely customers in the States there. I know you guys are opening back up, so that's really great to hear. But I hope everyone's doing well. We had a bit of a lockdown again here in Melbourne, but we're on top of things again, which is great. And Demodex never stops, that's for sure. So if you haven't seen one of my videos before, I generally go over what Demodex mites are. My name's Emma. I'm a care consultant at Ungex. And I'm a bit rugged up today because it is a bit cold. So yeah, I'm a care consultant at Ungex, and we are based in Melbourne, Australia. So, it's probably nighttime for you guys there, so it might be a bit later in the evening, but thanks for jumping on. You can always watch the video back as well. So today I'm just going to run through what Demodex mites are, some exciting news from headquarters. We've got some new packaging, which is really lovely, and I'll share that with you. And I'm just going to go over some frequently asked questions from the week, actually, the last couple of weeks. We've got to always have questions about Demodex. So if you're new to the group, this is being shared across our support groups as well. So we've got a really great Demodex support group, which is getting bigger and bigger every day, which just shows that there's so many people out there suffering with skin mites, unfortunately. So if you're watching, you may be one of those people. 6 p.m. Oh, not too late. That's great. I was freaking out. It's like 1 in the morning or something. So it's about 11:30 a.m. here. So I've had my coffee. I'm due for another one. We love you so much, Arlene. Arlene and Hope are two of our amazing Demodex fighters. They've been our customers, our amazing heroes. You guys out there, we give you as much support as you give us. So, and I know how hard it is battling. I personally don't know, but I know what you guys are going through. So keep up the good fight, Arlene. And the Stevie Wonder was for you. I also had to ask if you enjoyed that burger last time we were talking. I'm sure you did. So today I'm just going to go over what's California, of course. Just go over what Demodex mites are. And Demodex mites themselves, they are a microscopic parasite. So the thing is, they actually are a very common mite. Everyone on Earth has them. I even have them now. We all have them. It's just our biology, our makeup as a human beings. So unfortunately, they're not so much of an issue when they're in really low populations. So if you've got one or two, we can hardly feel them because they are microscopic. I loved it. That's awesome. So they are a microscopic mite, so they're really hard to see with the naked eye. But generally what happens if you have an overpopulation of these mites on the skin, they can cause a lot of ongoing issues. Hi guys, thanks for joining, and please, if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to do so. It'll make my video a lot more interesting instead of me talking mite dialogue, but you know, as much information I can get to you guys, and I do tend to repeat myself. So, Demodex mites, they can cause so many ongoing skin issues. They are horrible looking. I don't have my big one behind me, but this is what they look like. Ugh. That's a name. They're a microscopic parasite, and there are two types that live in the human body. So I'm just going to do a little diagram of where they live, what they do, and what they cause. So a big way to find out, you know, number one question I get is, how do I know if I've got Demodex? First indication, if you feel anything crawling on your skin, any creepy crawling movements on the skin, and itching is the number one factor that there is something there, right? There's something on your skin. And just because you can't physically see something doesn't mean it's not real. I do know so many people I talk to, you go to your dermatologist and all your specialists and stuff like that, going, I've got something on my skin. I can't see it, but I can feel it. And a lot of the time, it's really disheartening to hear these stories from myself or you guys, is that, you know, you get turned away. Like, it's all in your head. You're nuts. Here's an antipsychotic. How's that going to help me? So a lot of the time you come away feeling, if not worse than when you went to these specialists, you know, paying big money to see them and waiting so long to see them as well, to get told it's simply dermatitis or eczema or, you know, symptoms essentially. But what Demodex mites can cause is these ongoing symptoms, so such as acne, blepharitis, which is the inflammation of the lashes, the follicles, aging of the skin, any consistent itching, movement on the skin, as I said as well, dermatitis, flaking, hair loss. So that can cause a lot of these ongoing skin issues. And what we find a lot of the time is that, you know, some people come to us saying, oh, look, I think it might just be dermatitis. I'm going to treat that with XYZ or topical ointments. But an indication that they are there is that these problems keep persisting. And the reason for that is because there's two types of Demodex mites, that live in the human body and on our skin. So I hope you guys can see this. I have to make, oh, that's really good. You can see that. I've got a new texture. So there's two types that live in the human body. They are Demodex follicule. I hope I'm spelling that right. And Demodex brevis. So, I don't know if you can hear it, but the follicle is the longer one here. This guy, yes. And the brevis is a lot more shorter and fatter. So the follicle is in the follicles and the brevis is in the skin. So generally what happens, follicles. So I'm done a bit of a cross-section, a large cross-section of the skin. So this is a hair follicle. And this is the skin here, so this is the pores of the skin. So our skin creates all this yummy oil, right? Oil, fat, nutrients, and it helps our hair to grow and our skin to grow, you know, as a human. So all this oil and sebum it's called, is mite food. So this is food. So this is what Demodex feed off, all this good oil. So they eat and eat away at all the stuff under the hair follicle and helps it grow. So they begin to basically starve your skin and your follicles of these nutrients. And what happens is they eat and eat and eat, and then they also explode on the skin. So while they're eating, you know, they're crawling around and running around your skin. Oh, this is a really good picture. Wow. Didn't make it look scary, but angry eyes. There we go. So when they're 1 or 2, it's not so much of an issue. But when there's like 2,200 of them, they hang out in this high population density area. So that's when they can cause a lot of these ongoing issues because they're all eating away at your good oils and stuff like that that's helping the skin to grow. So what happens is they feed and feed and feed off it, and not only are you dealing with the mites on the skin, you're dealing with a lot of that bacteria getting released by the mites as well. So this bacteria that's over by the mites inflames these pores. A lot of pores become sebaceous as well. It really starts to, like a lot of people feel like they have track marks in their skin and stuff like that. It's just the indication that they're there and they're very present. So they are the most active at night. So if you are feeling more movements, more sensations at night, it is another indication that you do potentially have these higher populations. So at night, I don't know if you can see it. There's a bit of a mite mess there. So at night time, they come up to the surface of the skin. So at night is party time. So at night time they come out and they have a field day. So they don't like to, not to say if you can feel sensations throughout the day, but night time is it's more of a better time. They prefer it to come out and mate from under those hair follicles because they don't like the UV. So they tend to hang out more hiding under these hair follicles during the day, whereas they're the most active at night, and that's when they mate on the top of the surface of your skin. They mate, and then the females lay the eggs back deep. Where's my little rubber thing? Back deep in these hair follicles. So this is why it's so hard to treat, guys, and I'm sure you know out there, you've got thousands and thousands of, you know, all these eggs that are like deep in these hair follicles. So what happens is, you know, you're not only dealing with the ones that have, you know, hatched that come to the surface, you're also dealing with these eggs that haven't even hatched yet. So there's these life cycles of these parasites, and that's why the problems do become ongoing because the eggs hatch and the cycles continue. You know, I think a big question is, why me? Why not anyone else? Like, well, why do I live with other people and I've got these problems, but my family don't, or people that I live with? Because Demodex are so much more complex than people realise. Unfortunately, if you do have a compromised immune system, there's a lot of things to factor in as to why you. I wish I could easily answer that, but I can't. I don't have my superpowers yet, but I'm working towards it. I feel like I am a bit of a mite whisperer, and I've been doing this job for about a year and a bit now, so I've heard a lot of different stories, that's for sure. And look, it's really hard because everyone has no two people are the same when it comes to skin, right? And our bodies. And it was easily treatable, we wouldn't exist. Simple as that. There's a lot of factors as to why you have higher infestations as well. So as I said, if your immune system is quite poor, if you have really sensitive skin, that can be another, you've got that already compromised immune system, your skin's super sensitive, you're just more at a higher risk. If you are producing more oil, so, teenagers or people, adults as well, if you tend to be more on the oilier side, it just unnecessarily means you could be more of a feast for them as well. So that's what we work. We work in these life cycles to kill off the Demodex mites, and it's definitely not an easy feat. As I'm sure Arlene can agree with. And our products, a big part of our products is that we have to make your skin a hostile environment for these mites, but also, number one, we're really gentle on the skin because that's our main focus, as well as killing mites. We're all about killing the mites and being really kind to your skin. So I just wanted to quickly tell you about, and just make aware, the hardest part about having Demodex is I wish I could see into everyone's skin and tell you exactly how many life cycles there are, but unfortunately I can't. So, of course, if you've had a combination, generally what we find is you've probably got both types going on, which is scalp, in your scalp and hair loss as well, in your eyes, eyelashes, which is the follicle, the dermatitis in your eyes. And then, because they do move, they do migrate, they breed. So they migrate across the body. They get higher in population simply because of their mating. I think I'm going out of sympathy with you guys. I had really bad skin last week, so, I completely empathise for everyone out there. And I think it's overwhelming for me as a consultant, just from the sheer number of people who have these problems. Another way to find out if you do have a high population density is, sorry about my gross teeth out here. If you take out online, you can take out online quiz. So we treat globally. Unfortunately, we are based down here. Our headquarters is based in Melbourne, Australia. So we ship all our products globally overseas. So, my text was too good. Overclean it. Strip it. We don't want to do that. So you can take out www.ungex.com is our website. If you haven't been there before, I suggest you do. We've got so much information on them. You can read all about the life cycles of Demodex mites, which I was actually just bringing up for you. We've got a blog site all about us, how we started, our founder of the company as well. He's suffering from Demodex mites, so, we've been doing this since 2011. So we know what we're doing and what we're dealing with. So, here we go. It's hard work. It is, Arlene. It certainly is. Yeah, and it's not just, it takes a mental toll. It can be very isolating. It's horrible. So I really feel for you guys out there. So on our website, ungex.com, we do have a little quiz. It takes about 5 minutes, and that's an accurate quiz. So from the quiz, we ask you what you're doing to your skin, because that can really determine potentially another reason why you do have more Demodex, those higher populations. It's not to say we do treat people in lower populations, it's just they take a shorter time to treat as well. So you can take our quiz, and from that we ask you what you're doing to your skin, what your environment is like, what your immune system is like. So if you've been using, which is totally common, a heap of, washes, chemical treatments, you get people put pesticides on themselves and a heap of other stuff. I was talking to someone that was using about 20 different types of products on the skin, and we get it, like we totally understand, because when you've got mites, you just want to get rid of them. But unfortunately, a lot of those stuff on the skin, while it can help for the short-term period, it really does your skin more harm than good. Because our skin, if you're treating your house for mold or anything environmental, the house can tolerate a lot of harsh chemicals, but our skin can't. So what happens is, 99% of the time, people I talk to, and probably out there like yourself, you're using a lot of these treatments, but it just really fries and dries the skin out. It breaks your skin's natural barriers down, so you're just stuck on this consistent wheel of trying to self-manage it. But that's why we're so happy you guys come across our site, because we do have a lot of information about Demodex. We have a whole research and development team that came up with the products. So I just wanted to quickly touch on something here that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to try and jam the whole of Demodex in one video. So I'll try not to do that. But there's plenty of information. I've done heaps of videos before, so have a look on our website, guys. We've got a YouTube channel as well, which is really great. I did one customer treatment story with Randall, which is lovely, so you can have a look back on that. His was more environmental based, but we also treat for fleas, ticks, scabies, lice, bird mites, dust mites. We can cover, for the whole, there's not just Demodex. And what we find, if you do have Demodex, as everyone does, if you're at a higher population, you're probably more susceptible to other types of environmental mites. It's unfortunately, you just become a magnet, which again, I wish I could give you the exact reason why, and some people do know why, because they are cross-transferable, they are contagious. So, at some point in time, you may have been exposed to them, because they do live off the skin for 52 hours. So I know a lot of people, they're like, 2 years ago I was somewhere in a really bad environment, it was really dirty, and I started getting these issues, and they just kept continuing on. So I'm surprised I'm not swearing yet. Alright, so I just wanted to talk to you about this. Oh, sorry, guys, I kind of left you in the lurch there. Cover. Yeah, Arlene just mentioned, I don't know if you guys all obviously are. There's just a lot of, when you start using a lot of different treatments on the body, they all begin to interrupt each other. So it just becomes this jumbled mess, really. So we work towards getting your skin really to that basic level by making your skin hostile for them. So that your skin becomes an inhospitable place for them. So that's all part of the treatment plan. We give you all these advisory tips. We go over the protocol and how it's used, etc., etc. So that's a big part of what you invest in. We're not here to go, here's some, treatment, see you later. It is an investment, and we know it works, but you've got to do it correctly, how we say, to get the best results. So if you've been using like a ton of cosmetics and makeups, moisturizers, while they all have really great benefits for the skin, so if you're having problems, ongoing issues, you've got itching, acne, rosacea, it's another really sensitive skin type, skin problem, issue, sorry. So if you've got all that going on and you're thinking, okay, I might have Demodex, I'm not too sure, but I'll keep using a lot of, makeups, etc., etc., you don't realize that you're actually feeding them without realizing it. So basically, those treatments aren't going to help because you're feeding the mice. So once we clear the skin of mice, then there's nothing for them to feed off, basically, because they're not there anymore. So, as I said, Demodex themselves keep away from the daylight, so the UV they absolutely hate. During the day, they hide out, and they come up to the night, as I said. Females lay their eggs 12 hours after mating inside the follicles or oil glands, and that's where they have an abundance of oil to feed the larva. Demodex can lay 15 to 20 eggs, which hatch to larvae in 2 or 3 days. It then takes about 7 days for the young mites to become adults, and during this time they gradually crawl up to the surface to mate and spawn after adolescence. So the life cycle continues for nearly 14 to 16 days. So this is how we can effectively kill them off when they come to the surface, as I've shown you. So that's, jump onto the quiz if you haven't already, and that will give you a number, whereas it will determine that potentially what you've been doing to your skin, how your skin is. My cat's watching me going to sleep, so I hope you guys aren't. And if there's any questions, as Aline said, so Aline's been an amazing customer of ours, and I'm sure she can agree. She's been at this for a little while now, and I think the hardest thing throughout treatment is going through these die-off periods, which is a part of the process. So when the mites begin to die, and this is something that I wanted to talk about today. So this is the hardest part of our treatment. It means that the mites die, and the reaction of the mites dying on the skin is that your symptoms will probably become enhanced. It doesn't mean the product's not working. It means it's doing what it's meant to do. So the products work. So our products, it is, if you haven't seen us before, this is very exciting because I have to show you the new packages. Aline, we've got boxes. Did you get? You would have got one. Listen to me, I'm like a little kid. So our products is a four-product protocol regime. Super easy, all natural ingredients, suitable for all skin types. So we've made it to suit the skin, obviously, and zero side effects. So our products have been researched and developed, and they're brilliant. And we've also got some new packaging as well. I'll just get them all here for you. So it is a system. To get the best results, you have to use the products together. They all each have an individual role. So one of my frequently asked questions, I'll actually tell you, was this last week actually. So someone asked me. This is a really good question and totally relevant. So as I said, using a lot of chemical products on the skin really damages the skin. Tea tree oil is known for its excellent killing properties. It's just unfortunately when people overuse that on the skin undiluted, it really dries your skin out. So unfortunately, the drier your skin is, the more vulnerable you are for the Demodex to go, yum, her skin's really screwed up. Let's have even more of a feast. So, one of my questions last week was, hi, I'm looking at your products, and I have some questions if that's okay. You mentioned tea tree oil isn't enough to eradicate Demodex, but when looking at the ingredients listed on Ungex, that's the only relevant ingredient. Oh, shit, is that my computer's not going? No, we're okay. Would you be able to clarify what ingredients in Ungex products are fighting mites if it's not the tea tree oil? So, there is a small percentage of tea tree oil in our products, and it certainly is not a sustainable way to treat your skin for mites by itself. As I said, undiluted on the skin can really damage it out, and more damage than good for the long term isn't good for your skin. So each product plays a different role, and they complement each other in helping reduce the effects of Demodex mite symptoms. So they work together. Some make the skin a hostile environment for the Demodex, while others target the Demodex mites directly. It's all about the right timing and the correct use of our products. So it's 4 products. This is them here. So while they all play a different role, they all work synergy. Yeah, that's the word. So yeah, each one plays a different role, but it all works together. And then also we have to take into consideration for treating your environment as well and other products. So yeah, it is a whole system, and I think that was one of my main questions of the week. So while as I said, there's 4 products. So our cleanser, it plays the role of helping to remove bacteria from the skin. It plays the role of helping to clean the skin. So, you probably use a lot of cleansers out there, but unfortunately, a lot of people overuse a lot of washes and can really strip the skin. So our cleanser plays the role of clearing the skin of bacteria. Then we have a hair tonic, which is and that guy plays the role of controlling the mites on the scalp and has properties to regrow hair. Also, regrowing hair in itself does take time. So when it comes to Demodex, you have to be really realistic about it. Unfortunately, guys, it's not an overnight thing, as I know Arlene can totally agree with. It's really hard. It's a process, that's for sure. And some days I don't know what to say to you guys, because it's unfortunately the biggest thing we can't give you is time, because we have to work in these life cycles. So the hair tonic's lovely. That helps to control the populations of the scalp, and also has really good properties for regrowing hair. So most importantly, we have to use all our products at night, because as I said, that's the right time. So that's when we can kill them, when they are the most active on the surface of the skin. So during that time, die-off starts to occur. So then our 2 most important products in the full product protocol system is our SBT. Ooh. Good momentum, my friends. Is our SBT. But this is made for skin Demodex treatment. So if you've just primarily got skin issues, rosacea, more of the breathers, this is what our SBT is for, and for more sensitive skin types in general. So that's our SBT. And that comes after our hair tonic. And how you'll find products is on dead skin after you hop out of the shower, after you do your cleansing, and then you'll apply the products, and that's the thing we go over in treatment. You also get our user guide. So this goes over instructions, how to use it, and it's got all tips and tricks as well. So this is everything you get when you order, and a little user guide. So that breaks it all down for you. So that's our SBT, and then our most important spray is our PT. This is the strongest stuff. So this is made for, how I said, everything works together. Yes, there is a cost in our products, that's for sure. The biggest part of what you invest in is a long-term solution, and I really don't think you can put a price on your skin. And look, we always try and work within people's budgets. We do have a really good sale at the moment as well, and I'm always, I know it's an investment. But you think of, I know a lot of people I speak to probably spent thousands of dollars on heaps of other treatments that hasn't worked for them. So I like to think we're a last stop for everyone, Natalie. And I always, big part of what you purchase is us, because we know how to get you to a point where to get those populations to a minimal level, because demotics themselves are incurable. If there was a way to effectively eliminate them all, we wouldn't exist, but unless you're a statue and your skin's made of stone, we're always going to have demotics, but unfortunately there are people out there, like the lovely Arlene and so many other people that have these issues from these horrible mites. So PT is our most important products. It helps to eliminate them off your immediate surfaces as well, but also is the most strongest one that we have to work up to. But that's all part of the treatment. What you're investing. So we go over the protocol, how to use it, nightly application, and how it works is that we work in these cycles and this die-off occurs, and that's the hardest part of treatment. So essentially, in the beginning, killing off those large populations, you will have die-off sensations, which means your problems will probably get enhanced, if not worse. That is the effects of the mites dying on the skin. There's no easy way around that, that's for sure. But we're here to support you all the way through. We know what it's like. It's really hard. You really got to not use a lot of other stuff on your skin, guys. Simple as that, as Arlene said. Coconut oil is the best thing for moisturising your skin.